How you doing? This is Mari Cruz, bridging the gap between the rich and the poor, coming from the great state of Texas. And I have here another Texan, Daniel Hall, to talk about Real Fast Social Graphic and his background of business and everything that he's done, because he's done a lot of stuff. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Mari. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with your community.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook right now. I'm multi-streaming in 2 pages in Facebook and YouTube. So
Awesome.
you got the floor. So I know you've done a lot of stuff. You study a lot of stuff. You're a lawyer, and you've been everywhere. Can you tell people a little bit about you?
Sure. I'll just a quick thumbnail. I started off going to nursing school. Then I never practiced nursing, but I went directly into law school. I finished nursing and law school. I have licenses even today, currently in both of those professions. And then I about 15 years ago now, 2004, 2005, and maybe 16 years now, I gave up practicing law to start my own publishing company. I wrote a book called Speak on Cruise Ships, 8 Easy Steps to a Lifetime of Free Luxury Cruises, which basically sent me off into this whole world of publishing and information product creation and marketing. And I have had a very, very successful run thus far in that field. I've come out with many different products. I'm a USA Today and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. And I love teaching people how to take what they know, the solutions that are in their brain, and bring those solutions to the marketplace, usually in the form of some sort of an information product or a book or ebook, video, etc. So that's what I really like doing, and I think that a lot of people could really increase the quality of their life if they could just think about what their knowledge or how their knowledge can help other people.
Yeah, so basically think outside the box, because everybody, I think, isn't it 98% of us Americans are doing the same old, a 9-to-5 type of job, and there's only us that are kind of like, no, I don't want to be in the box. I want to be out of the box. Yeah, I like that. So you've been everywhere and you've done a lot of huge things. Now, how did you got into the whole Pinterest thing? I mean,
right. So this is something I encourage other people watching to think about. And I see myself as a publisher. I am an author, of course, creator, marketer, all that. But I think first and foremost, I'm a publisher, and I have over the years been able to co-publish many courses and many trainings and coaching programs, etc., with some of the top people in the field, including, as you know, Jason Fladlin and Will Matos, who I go way back with, almost a decade. So one of my early partners was with a gentleman by the name of John Kramer, who is a best-selling author himself. And as a matter of fact, he's best known as a book marketer. And he wrote the classic in the industry. If you're into book marketing or in the publishing space at all, John's book called 1,001 Ways to Market Your Books is a classic. I mean, it sits on all the major publishers, shelves, big publishers, small publishers, and every publisher in between. So John and I had a few early products back, probably 7 or 8 or maybe 9 years ago now. And then he started to tell me when Pinterest came out that he started to play with it, and he started to see some really phenomenal results with generating free targeted traffic to his offers and to his sales pages and to his blogs, etc. And I'm easily distracted, and it took him probably a year of him poking me and telling me, hey, you need to look at this. You need to look at this before I actually finally did. And when I did, it basically blew my socks off. I'm like, holy cow. And then I got into it at that point when I actually took the time to look at what he was doing. So that basically rolled into, it just led naturally into the creation of our Real Fast Social Graphics program, where essentially we have helped literally thousands of people to generate targeted traffic for free, using Pinterest and Pinterest alone. So it was John Kramer that sort of it took me kicking and screaming into this world.
Wow. Well, you know what? Until I saw you guys in the training, I said, you know what, Pinterest, I never thought about marketing there or doing anything with it besides, hey, I just look for something here, like a, like a recipe here and there. And that was it. And then when you guys started talking about all the statistics, and I want you to talk about that so that people understand how big is Pinterest and the power of free organic traffic, I was like, oh my God. And I said, and I'm always skeptical. So I said, let me just try. Let me
that's
try
a good thing.
because of all the things that I've gone through. So I was like, let me just try this. And I started doing pins and I started seeing all these results and I said, oh my God. And that's when it clicked for me, because one thing is somebody saying something, another thing, and then the case study that you guys have. So tell the people here the demographics of Pinterest and why they should be there if they have any type of business, physical or e-commerce or B2B or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it was my natural inclination as a marketer. When somebody approaches me, even somebody at the level of John Kramer, when they come to me and say, "Hey, look at what's going on here," I'm like, "Okay, well, what are your results? In other words, what is the social proof? If you want to sell this, you've got to have proof that it works. You just can't say that it works. You got to show me that it works." And he's like, "Hey, not a problem." So John showed me one of the sort of outliers, the thing that really sort of took off, and that was he did a pin on a book called The Skinny Rules, and essentially put that pin up, and that pin has gone on to have literally over 1.6 million repins. Wow. And almost 200,000 clicks, right? 200,000 clicks to his website.
Wow.
Like, holy cow, this is like really phenomenal. It just
marketer's dream. A marketer's dream.
It is. It's a marketer's dream. And then I said, okay, well, can we repeat this? And the really cool thing is that in fact we have had many outliers. That was our best one, but we've had many outliers that have proven over and over and over again that this is a viable way to get free targeted traffic. And then when we rolled this program out to first to my own community, and then we started doing joint ventures with other people's communities, we just started to see lots of results from people that we were teaching the specific way that we were dealing and working Pinterest, because it is not the way most other people will work Pinterest. So it was with that sort of stacking of proof over proof over proof that I'm like, hey, we have to distill all of this knowledge down that he has basically done through his trial and error into a program, and that's what we did. Now, Real Fast Social Graphics is the program, and I think we've had that program in one iteration or another probably for the last 7 years. It's not, it's, yeah, it's
Wow.
not. And we're actually just finishing a brand new update to it. So it's one of those kinds of programs that just keeps on working, keeps on working, keeps on working. And so that folks understand there's a very good reason why it continues to work. And I'd like to, with your permission, tell folks about that. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course. That's what we're
Okay.
here. If you
Yeah.
want to share
So,
your screen or anything, or show anything, we also can do that.
yeah. So the other thing too that is really important to understand is that that with Pinterest you can in fact bring brand new targeted traffic because of two primary things. First thing is that Pinterest is open and searchable by anyone that goes to the site. They don't need to be a part of Pinterest. They don't need to follow you. And the whole idea behind that is that Pinterest is also archival in nature. So that means it's a lot like YouTube, in that you put something on YouTube, like let's say you started back in 2010, you put up your first video on YouTube in 2010. If that video is still public and you've named it a good keyword, that's still searchable and findable by anyone that uses YouTube, and they don't have to subscribe to you. They don't even need to be to subscribe to their own or logged into their own YouTube account in order to find your video. Well, much is also the same with Pinterest. In other words, you could put up a Pinterest pin that goes up today, and then that pin can continue to work for you today, tomorrow, the day after that, the day after that, and for months and weeks into the future. So when you add those two things with the really the third big thing, and that is the whole backbone and culture of Pinterest, is in sharing. It is a sharing kind of platform. So what do I mean by this? What I mean is that if you are putting up good quality content, we do that in the form of a pin, right? A pin. But if you're putting up good quality content in your niche or the niche that interests you, there are literally millions of other people on Pinterest that also are into that topic. And if the content is good, they will save it to their board. So that's the other thing we should probably discuss here as well, is with boards. You have a opportunity as a user on Pinterest to start boards on specific topic areas of interest to you. So I belong to a lot of boards that are related to self-publishing and internet marketing and affiliate marketing, and I love to travel. So I have boards related to Israel and to the Netherlands and to all places that I love, right? So that's one of the cool things about it, is that you have this culture of what are called repins, so that people will actually take and repin your stuff if it's good. So that the really great thing about that is, well, okay, so you're like, well, so what? They repin it. How does that help me? The other big part of this is that you can embed a link behind that pin, such that when people discover a pin of good content, and I would actually tell people to think about a pin as a graphical representation of a brief article. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you just like the finer points out of an article, and when they find that you know what you're talking about, and that you're publishing something that's actually helpful. Okay. By the way, that does not mean putting up a headline. That's because a lot of Pinterest pinners will do that. They'll put up a headline and they won't, and then they'll force you to go click on the link to go check out whether that is actually helpful content or not. And a lot of people get, jaded in that situation because where they get sent is not as good as they think, it should be. So if you put really good content on the pin itself, so people can evaluate the pin without having to click anywhere, if it's good, if it's intriguing, what will happen is they will click on your pin, and you could take them off to your landing page, your affiliate offer, your squeeze page, your sales page, your Amazon or Etsy or eBay listing, wherever you basically want to send them. It is a beautiful, self-perpetuating, passive revenue money machine, if you know what you're doing with Pinterest. So I think that pretty much lays out the main reasons why you would want to use Pinterest as a marketer. And on top of it, it's free. I mean, you don't have to pay to have a Pinterest account. You don't have to pay to advertise on Pinterest. And not only is it free, but as I alluded to before, it continues to work. It's not like you put up a Facebook post and 90 minutes later it's gone, or you put up a tweet on Twitter and 20 minutes it's gone, pretty much forever. Okay, things that you put up on Pinterest last, right? So it's a cumulative effect over time, and that could be very, very powerful when you're using it as a savvy marketer.
Yeah, and I think the graphic nature of it, the colors and all that stuff also attracts us as human, because I mean we use our senses.
Well, absolutely. That's so important, and I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the great things about Pinterest is that it is in fact a graphical platform. And people just will do the graphs on that platform, and because it's a graphical platform, it's fun. And it's easy. It's very sticky for the user, which brings me to another really important point that I want people to understand about Pinterest. The vast majority, two things about it: the vast majority of Pinterest users are females. So that's great news, because in our society and in our culture, the females do make most of the buying decisions. And if they're not making the buying decisions, they're definitely heavily influencing the buying decisions. Well, that's number one. The second big thing that folks should realize about Pinterest is the fact that when you put up a pin on Pinterest and it's good quality content, the fact that they can click and be sent somewhere else is really, really powerful. I mean, think about it this way. Facebook, Google, and all of the other big social platforms, they have built empires on the back of a simple click. Right? And that is what you're able to do. That is what you're able to do using Pinterest in the right way. So,
and in those platforms, usually Facebook, they want you to pay for ads a lot of money.
That's right.
So I've done ads in Facebook and I paid a lot of money for that, and I don't feel like I got that many results for all the money that I paid.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this is you could actually, because it is free, you could actually try on a number of different things, right? That's really cool that you could not be beholden to doing one thing, because you can experiment a lot more because it's free to do. That's really powerful. Now, also think about the fact that, and this is another, well, I'll say this is a second major point I want folks to understand. You need to look at Pinterest like it was a search engine, because that is what it is first and foremost. Yes, it has a social media component to it, but for the most part, people use it as a search engine. And the really great thing about it as a search engine is it's curated by humans, not an algorithm, right? And that's really, really powerful from the standpoint of people searching, and then like if I'm into I like fast, fancy cars. So I've got a board, a bulletin board or a board on Pinterest on all these beautiful cars, right? And so I will go doing what I just said, using Pinterest as a search engine. I'll go in, I'll type in, Porsche 911 white, or Ferrari red, or whatever, whatever car I'm interested in looking at. And it will bring up a list of images of cars like this that I could then, if I haven't yet added it to my collection, right, of images for that particular car, I could just click, mouse over it, and add it to my board. Well, what's so powerful about that is you could have this exponential sharing of a Pinterest pin. So, I pin it once to my board and my followers see it. And because it's a good quality pin and they're also interested in that particular topic, they say, aha, this looks really cool. I'm going to save it to my board. And then on it goes over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's why that's why we've had over 1.6 million repins, for example, of our Skinny Rules graphic. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why this can be so powerful.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are always in the digital marketing or the business, area, that they have issues getting leads and traffic. And this will solve your problem.
Well, it certainly will be a big help, and a heck of a lot better than doing nothing at all, and a heck of a lot better than doing a lot of the paid stuff, frankly. Because so what you take whatever 10, 15 minutes to put up a pin and it flops. So what? You're out 10 or 15 minutes. But what if that that pin takes off? Well, it could work for you potentially for years. It can like we have had pins that continue to generate traffic literally years later. It just keeps coming. It keeps coming, and more people keep sharing, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, and if you're not paying ads on Facebook, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Because they turn off the faucet and they're like, well, unless you pay us, we're not going to show your ad.
That's
so
right.
Evergreen content is where it's at for any business. And wow, I mean, and the other social medias, they don't show everything to everybody either. Because example, on Facebook, I only have a limited number of people that see my posts. And the same with business pages and all this stuff. But in Pinterest, you say you don't even have to be part of Pinterest to get in there and see all these pins.
That's right.
How many social medias are like that is my question. Besides
no, zero. Zero. Yeah. And now here's another thing to consider, Madi, that in addition to all the great stuff that Pinterest will do for a good quality pin, now that it is about the quality of the content. Okay. You can't put up, junk. You got to put up something that's truly helpful. But if you're doing that, not only can Pinterest help you on the platform itself, but also they might do what you need to do to email market for you as well. Because what they will do is they will actually email to folks on their list several times a day. I will get an email from Pinterest, and they'll recommend boards to me. They'll recommend pins to me. They'll recommend profiles to me based on what I like and what I've already pinned. You see? So that's the other kind of cool thing about this is that, once again, if you know what you're doing, it is probable, although there's no guarantees that I'm trying to take my next breath, but it's probable that they will actually do some email marketing for you as well.
Wow. And we have to remind people too that it's not only images, but also their videos. And now with the story pin or idea pin, we can have a combination of both and have a bigger
That's right.
20 images, or combination of images and videos in one thing, and those are doing really good for me, the story pins.
Great. Yeah. I mean, the great thing about this is the people that are on Pinterest, and there's literally millions and millions. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it's probably in hundreds of millions of people that use the platform on a monthly basis. They love it. It's a very sticky platform, and the reason why it's so sticky is because people can tune into exactly what they're into. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fast, fancy cars. Maybe you're a gardener, right? There are tons of boards on gardening. Maybe you're into standard poodles. Tons of boards on standard poodles. Maybe you're selling business to business solutions. Tons of boards on business to business types of solutions. Maybe you're a speaker. There's boards on speaking. I mean, everything under the sun. And the thing that you must understand about that is it's like people holding up their hand, right? They're holding up their hand and saying, I'm interested in X, whatever that thing is. And how do we know that they're interested? Because they affirmatively took the action to start a board on that particular topic.
Yeah,
we have this saying that says if you want to know a woman's heart, follow her on Pinterest, because she will tell you everything that she's into by starting a board on that topic.
Wow.
Maybe it's fashion, maybe it's
languages for me,
child rearing, maybe it's being a Baylor alum. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What about the percent of women that buy there? Because you see, I've been in Pinterest for years, but I never bought anything directly. And I'm a person that buys everything online. I don't know why I never bought from there. But isn't it a high percentage of women there buying stuff directly from there, and that will benefit your business?
Well, so Shopify. Great question, Marty. Shopify, and for those of you that don't know what Shopify is, it is basically an e-commerce platform, so that if you wanted to sell your own goods, you might subscribe to a Shopify account and sell your goods through one of their storefronts. Okay. And a lot of people do that. And Shopify actually did a study and found that Pinterest actually was the #1 rated buyer social media.
Wow.
In other words, people that go from Pinterest to go on to buy something do so at much higher levels than any other social platform, okay, including Facebook, and do so at a higher level. $50 is about the current ticket size.
Wow.
So yeah, in other words, it is a community of buyers. And I'll give you another example. Like you just said, you've never bought anything from Pinterest, even though you buy everything online. I'll give you an example of how I recently used Pinterest. I didn't buy directly from Pinterest, although there are ways to do that. But what I did, my wife and I remodeled our master bedroom and bathroom. So one of the things that we wanted to do is we like you do, you go to Pinterest and you type in master, bathroom vanity. That's what I was looking for. So I went to master bathroom vanity and I just started looking to see what I liked. my gorgeous wife and I, we looked through there and looked through it, and and we found one that we really, really loved. We really love this. So I saved it to my board on master bathroom. I have a board on master bathroom, so I have saved my favorite things that I like about it, and I ended up buying. Because I clicked on the link and I went off to the website. I bought that, and it was like it wasn't cheap. I know that it was like $2 or $3 grand for this vanity.
What?
Oh yeah,
wow. So over $1,000, which is a high ticket sale.
Yeah, yeah. It's a primo, vanity that I saw there, and I actually think I bought it on Wayfair. By the way, I think that's right.
Really, Wayfair?
Yeah,
that's shocking.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was, but again, that's the perfect example of how people use it and how I myself used it. Although I didn't buy through Pinterest itself, I clicked on the image and went to Wayfair and bought it directly from Wayfair because they produced a free link because they posted a really cool image of this beautiful bathroom and vanity and whatnot. And I thought, I want that. We like that. And that's what we bought.
Wow.
So that's a good example.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So there's a lot. I think there's a lot of applications for this for business. I mean, so many thousands of applications. I mean, I can actually just put an affiliate link from Amazon FBA, which I don't do that, but I'm just telling people that whoever that do that would be like, you can just send somebody somewhere there, and when they buy, you get paid for that.
That's right.
How do you see Pinterest changing in the next year? Because I think the story pin is new. Do you think there's going to be a lot of changes?
You're going to see more video.
In Pinterest?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, it is. The Pinterest videos are hot on Pinterest, and that's certainly something that that we can that you should do is Pinterest videos or videos that you post on Pinterest, and they can be YouTube videos. They could be animated GIFs. They could be cinemagraphs. Wow. Yeah. So they could be all kinds of, moving images. And that's really cool too, because again, it captures people's attention, right?
Yeah. That's the main thing, content that I create. Well, I mean, I do pins too. I'm a type of personality, so I'm everywhere, but my main thing is video and now Clubhouse, because I got into the Clubhouse train too. But yeah, so video is also going to be there. I just didn't think it was going to catch like so big there.
It will, or it is. It's already huge there.
Oh my gosh. Do you think that they will actually add links to the idea pins, because you can't like send anybody anywhere with those pins?
I don't know. I don't know. It's changed. It's changed over the years on where you could send people, and but they've also innovated. But the one things I could say, because I don't know what the future holds. I mean, no one knows exactly what the future holds. Of course not. Yeah. But one thing is for sure, that the whole backbone and culture of Pinterest is in repinning and making sure that pins have links behind them. I don't think that's going to change, and that's the important thing. Okay.
Yeah. How are you helping your students with the issue of the spam killers? Because we have to come up with a solution, because I was putting a link, and they don't like short links in Pinterest. So I got blog a spam. Of course, we figure out a way to do it. But how are you helping your students with that issue specifically? Because I don't know if anybody else is having that issue, but several of us from AT have that issue, and we fixed it. What do you tell your students to deal with a spam killer? Because I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
So two things. First off, I'm a big believer in always controlling the underlying link. Okay.
Mhm.
Of wherever you're sending people, like I would not use Bitly or anything, because
Mhm.
you don't control that. You do
Yeah.
not control that underlying link.
Mhm.
And you want a link that you can change, like go back in and change. And again,
Mhm.
the only way that I know to do this, where you control it, and then you can control the underlying link,
Mhm.
is by having a WordPress blog with the Pretty Links the Pretty Links plugin. And
Mm.
I paid, I don't know, like I have the pro one because I like to make QR codes as well. And I think that was $90.
Mm.
And I could use it on a couple, I can't remember the exact how much it was for the license, but it's more than paid for itself many, many, many times over. So that's number one. Control your own link.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Second, I would almost always two-step the any sales. In other words, I would not just haul off and send people directly to somebody else's affiliate link without them going through some
Rich
filter
pay?
first, like so that you can capture the lead. So a squeeze
Mm.
page, and
Okay.
then if you capture them on a squeeze page by giving away something for free of value,
Mhm.
and then maybe even having a 2 or 3 or 4 day email sequence to warm up
Mhm.
to them
Mhm.
before you start selling them. Before you
Mhm.
start selling, so that they know, that you're building this bond with them, and they know that you're not just all about the money and the sale. So yeah, and you could have a link there if they do want to go buy, but the thing is that you're not really pounding that. You're the primary and smartest, in my view, way to use Pinterest is to number one, identify like-minded people that are into whatever you're into
Mhm.
and or selling, and then number two, um, developing a relationship with them,
Mhm.
because that's what it's all. This business, any business, comes down to relationships.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And focusing, like you said, on who is your perfect avatar. Because if you don't know what that is, then you're not gonna hit the person that you need.
Right. Well,
Um,
that's
yeah.
dictated on the boards that you in the content that you put out there.
So you have to be intentional when Pinterest, not just follow any boards that you want and thinking that
Well, you can follow any boards you want, but it's the content that you're putting out there,
Okay.
and the boards that you're starting.
So how do you deal with it? By the way, one of my pin Pinterest accounts was deactivated because supposedly I broke community guidelines. So now I have to do a submission of, I don't know what. I don't think I did anything wrong. How do you deal with that? Because I'm like, you don't say exactly what are your community guidelines. Seems like all the social medias are very general in their thingy. I don't know. Um,
Yeah,
why do usually they cancel people
that's
like
really
that?
weird. I've actually never heard of that.
Yeah,
So
and
you
I'm
have.
not the only person, by the way, in AT that has been gotten account deactivated, suspended account. So we had several people, I will say at least 10 of us that have had accounts deactivated. So I don't know why, but so Lisa told me just to submit an appeal and tell them, hey, I didn't do anything. And she said that usually takes days, but it's just another thing that I've been noticing, that's why I think I have like 6 accounts of Pinterest. Because if one goes, I have
Right,
another one. I have a
right.
backup. You know what I mean? So you
Rocking
haven't.
off.
So you haven't heard that, huh? About
No, this is
the.
this is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah, well, that's good for you to know because that's another way, another thing you can put for the people that are buying your product to help them when that happens.
Yeah.
That and the spam killers.
Yeah. Well, I told you how to circumvent that.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just don't. It's always going to be okay to send somebody to your own blog property where you could
Hmm.
pre-sell them and then send them on to wherever you're going to send them on to if it's a sales thing.
Hmm.
That's always going to be, well, I say always. I don't see that changing on Pinterest. Let's put it that way. But this other issue of losing an account, I have no. I mean, I suppose you could not follow their guidelines and get whacked. I don't know, but I've never. This is actually first I've heard of it. At least on Pinterest. Now, what I did because one of the other things I've lost my I lost both my Kindle and my YouTube accounts and got them back by
Mm.
going through the appeals process. And in fact, I actually published a course on Udemy on how to do that. Yeah, and I don't check it very often, but it continues to sell, so great. But the main thing is being very, very meticulous about going through their
Hmm.
their rules and then their
Hmm.
appellate process.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much information. Um. So let's answer some objections here. People will say, "Well, I don't have the time." Well, but if you have a business, don't you make time? I
Yeah,
always like to go through issues. Oh, no time. I'm too old. Well, are you too old? Don't we have all demographics in Pinterest anyway?
all demographics.
To all demographics creating pins and all demographics buying stuff.
Absolutely, and
Um,
using it.
yeah. What is the other thing? I think that's the main thing anyway. The main two things that say. And don't you include a lot of stuff with your course anyway? You try to, like, you have a great customer service and you include all that people need to actually get hit the ground and run with
Yeah,
Pinterest.
yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on is we have a very robust Facebook group, and John is in there every day and helping folks. And we in fact, I'm not sure. I think you have a link here on the screen.
Mhm.
There's actually a whole hour plus. It's actually almost 2 hours of pretty hard hitting step-by-step training in a webinar, and I think it's free. I haven't looked at the other side of that link, but I think they've got it set up for free. If you're interested in that, I would definitely go to this link that you see scrolling across here, the bottom, this bit.ly link, and I'm sure Madi, you'll probably post the link as well. But
Mhm.
go there and just watch it. Watch what we do, because in fact, in that webinar, we actually take somebody in the audience and build them a complete Pinterest funnel basically before your very eyes. And the great thing about that is that it's simple enough to do that you can emulate. You just do what we do, follow along, and instead of we show you where to click and how to think about it, and where to
Mhm.
find images and what you should put on your pin, etc. So that's all completely free at that link right there, and I encourage you to go check it out. It may be for you. It's probably going to be for you, frankly. And if not, I can guarantee you will learn things that you did not know okay, before that are helpful. They're going to be super helpful in your business.
Yeah,
Either
and you
way,
have,
you
and
win.
I was going to ask you, because this is, some people might say, well, we don't have a technical thing. I bet if they need more technical help, that's where your course comes in. Am I right?
Yes, but I will also say that we've had literally 90-year-olds do this, and
Wow.
not particularly tech savvy. As a matter of fact, um, we show you how to use. I mean, if you could open an email and read an email, you could do this. Okay, that's sort of the litmus test. If you can't figure out how to turn on a computer and get to an email and read it, probably not for you, and you probably wouldn't be watching this video anyway if that were you.
Yeah, because we're on YouTube and Facebook, right?
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you can use Facebook, if you can put up a post on Facebook, you could definitely do this.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that you have a 90-year-old, that you have people from all ages. So,
and all over the world, Marty, all over the world.
All over the world too?
All over the world.
Gosh.
So it's not just the United States or North America. It's South America, Central America, the Europe, the Middle East, the Far East, the Asian Pacific Islanders, wow, all these places in between, South Africans. Yeah, it goes on and on and on and on.
Okay, so this message is for global everybody. That's me everywhere. Doesn't matter where you're at.
Doesn't matter where you are.
You can do it. And even if you don't speak the language, you can follow what they're doing, because they show you step by step on how to do it. You might not understand, but you can see it. Yep. Am I right?
That's a statement I can agree with.
That's another objection. I'll try to answer objections. Well, thank you so much. Oh my God, this was amazing, Daniel.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, Marty. I love talking about this because I've seen over and over and over again the difference that it can make in people's businesses if they will just implement some of this. And it's not that hard. I always say, if you could devote 5 or 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, who can't do that? Who cannot do that? True. Come on.
That's true. But I do mine in batches.
You can do it that way too.
That's how I like it, because I do that and then I schedule them and I'm done. Instead of having to be like, because I'm doing so many things, those of us that are ultra busy and don't have time, that's how you do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a way to get your content out there. Exactly. And this is perfect for the people that don't want to show their face or want to talk, or introverts, because they don't,
exactly,
they're afraid of videos and audios and all this stuff. You don't have to show anything. All you have to do is tell your story through a pin and through a video.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
people will get you.
That reminds me of something else that's a part of the course that's very, very much in keeping with what you just said. Mm-hmm. Because the fact of the matter is that you could be a complete introvert and see phenomenal results from this. In fact, one of the things that we teach people within the course to do is to springboard or piggyback off daily television shows. We show you how to figure out who's going to be on a daily television show before the show actually airs. So I'm talking about whatever, The View or Jimmy Kimmel or somebody like that. And we show you how to create pins around who's going to be on, or some topic that's going to be discussed, so that even as an introvert, you don't have to be the person that goes on, Ellen. I don't think she's going to be around much longer, but or one of the other shows. But you still get the benefit. You still get to benefit. That's the beautiful thing about it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Like I forgot about that using somebody else's cloud to
and media buzz. So in other words, let's say, let me give you an example here, right? Let's say that you have some sort of a product or that's related or could be related to a new Lady Gaga song, right? Mm-hmm. And Lady Gaga is going to be on, I don't know, SNL or whatever.
SNL, yeah.
And you could do a pin about Lady Gaga or about the song or about the topic of the song, or the subject matter of the song, that links from Pinterest over to your own offer, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the show airs, lots of media buzz. People are going to be looking for it. They'll probably feature it on Pinterest,
Exactly.
and you're likely, there's no guarantee, but you're likely to get a lot more repins and a lot more traffic and a lot more clicks because of that. Well, this is just one way of doing this, right? Just one way of doing it.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's
If I was,
that's another thing that we teach within Real Fast Social Graphics.
yeah, if I was me, I would use a Creative Commons picture of Lady Gaga and then put my merch there and then move people that way. But
I
don't
dig
wear
it.
copyrights. I'm Creative Commons or a picture that doesn't have any copyright because you don't want to get in trouble with any copyright laws anywhere. I like to stay in the legal side of things. Very specific here. Well, thank you
Me,
so much,
me too.
Daniel.
Yeah.
So if you're having issues with your leads and traffic, this is the time for you to get the solution to your problem. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I have one other thing. If you want to
Yes.
hear this about
Yes, of course.
because you basically just set off a grenade there at the very end and didn't let me and didn't let me jump on it.
No, jump on it. Jump on
Yeah.
it.
The thing is about copyright, because people are going to say, "Oh no, I'm going to be in legal trouble if I do this. I can't do this." Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how this works, so that you're fully aware.
Mm-hmm.
First off, anything that you put up on Pinterest, if you're a Pinterest user, you are warranting, you are giving the license to any other Pinterest user to use your stuff, to pull it down and to make your own pin. That's number one. So if you find something on Pinterest and you want to reuse it or cut it up and make another pin out of it, perfectly within Pinterest terms of service to do that. Number
Oh,
one.
that's good to know.
Yep. Number one. Second thing that you should do is exactly like you say, use Creative Commons and public domain images, which is, if you go to this link that we have here for you at Real Fast Social Graphics, at this bit.ly link, and watch the webinar, we actually walk you through several places where you can get completely free, really good quality images for these pins. Free. Okay,
Exactly.
so I just want to make sure that
Yes,
that we're not, we're addressing this, because you could definitely do this with completely above board, without without doing anything black hat or stealing anything from anybody.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
just want
Because
to make sure we're
yeah.
clear on that.
Thank you so much, because I didn't want to leave it like that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just wanted to address that. Somebody said that I said something that it was not what I said. You see what I mean?
Yep.
Just
Yep.
because I'm in video, I'm in YouTube. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah. So even they have that solution. They will tell you where you can find your images, so that you can actually pin and how to do the pins and how to get more views and all this stuff. That's what the course is about and more. But thank
Yep.
you so much, Daniel, for
You-
coming
You're,
and answering all these questions. And I learned so much from you, and I appreciate coming.
I appreciate the opportunity, Madi. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. So you have a nice day
Bye-bye.
and a nice weekend. Bye. Bye. So that was Daniel Hall, guys. This is a very, very cool, because that means that you can do this, do what you need to do, work it, and go and check this out, because you know what? My friend is already making money with it. Several people bought this, and I really appreciate your watching this. So this is Mari Cruz, with the gap between the rich and the poor. If you're new to my channel, just subscribe. Take care. Bye. And stop. And stop.